So if it's okay if I go ahead and start. Sure. Hello. So what are the biggest takeaways or lessons that you've learned from the first 2 seasons that you're looking to carry into the third?
Oh, that's a huge question. The biggest takeaways and lessons from the first 2 seasons you want to take in the third? Do you know, I'm really not sure what the right answer to that question would be. I mean, there's so many answers. One of them would be the kind of faith in our cast to bring these characters to life. It's such a hard thing to create an alternate world that mirrors ours so closely. And what I mean by that is one of the unique challenges of this show is that we are dealing with Nazis and with Imperial Japanese. These are 2 fascist authorities that had a desperately appalling effect on the world through the 1930s and 40s. And there are many people alive who suffered directly under them, and their children suffered directly under them. I grew up in London, there's still a bomb damage. And you have to honour that reality, that truth, even though we're telling a story of a false reality, an alternate reality. So one of the things we've worked so hard with it in the first 2 seasons into the third is to honour that history, to be authentic with it, but to evolve it into imagining a world that has existed for 20 more years under fascism. And that's a very hard thing to do, and to keep doing consistently, and to do in a way that is going to be both entertaining and illuminating.
What do you think, why do you think this resonates, particularly right now in the world that we live in now? Why does this show resonate so much?
Because we're on a slippery slope to fascism. We know that. We all know that, sitting around this table. You know, we're living in a world of intolerance, and that's very dangerous.
Well, it's an anti-fascist novel. You know, my father feared fascism, warned that it's the enemy wherever it is, and it is. And it, you know, it definitely feels like we're not even a slow roll. It feels like a jog, you know, into this. So that feels obviously very topical, but to answer your question before about going forward, one of the things we talked about at the beginning of the season was really wanting to drill down on what the resistance is doing and sort of showing acts of resistance in various forms, and wanting to offer some sort of hope in such a bleak world, because it is such a relentlessly bleak world. But there's also hope. I think this season is, you know, the sort of tenor of it, the emotion of it is a little more varied.
We begin to shift from a world where the only hope that exists in a film to where how that can be generated from the characters themselves and their actions and their choices.
So the characters have been weaving in and out of each other's lives, especially in the second season. Are there any new or interesting pair-ups that we can expect going forward? Or ones you're most excited about?
Pair-ups?
Well, we have Jason Amara.
Is that what you mean?
Who joins the show.
I'm not sure. Reunions, maybe?
Yeah.
I will say there are various reunions without giving anything away.
Yeah.
And I will say there's actually more romance last season.
Yeah, there was, in a weird way. I mean, at the end of season 2, you'll remember that Juliana Crane was on the East Coast, and Frank was on the West Coast, and Joe was in Berlin. And so across the course of the season, you'll see everyone begin to reunify. And I can't really tell you much more than that. They're giving away big surprises.
Philip K. Dick used iChain to help him write that
Yes, he did.
book.
I have his iChain.
Do you really?
Yes.
Are you using that to help you with the...
I wish. It would help enormously.
Writer's room, it's got
Certainly we throw random ideas to the universe, that's for sure.
What do you find are some of the challenges or the advantages to the show being released in a streaming format rather than traditionally on a network?
Well, I think the type of material, along with the cost of the show, would make it impossible to get it sold on a network or cable or even. And I think because it's pretty subversive, that's always a challenge. So sort of type of material it is, iconography, all of that, along with just the expense of it, I think makes it perfect for streaming. But I also think that people like to watch it at their own pace. So some like to go through quickly. I always feel sad when people move through quickly because there's so much time and effort put into all of this, and maybe they go back and watch again. But I think it's very well suited for those reasons. We couldn't get it, by the way, we couldn't get it set up. We were for 10 years. It's been 10 years now on this project. And until Amazon came along, until streaming options came along, we'd been turned down everywhere.
One of the things I like about streaming too is we're making kind of 10-hour narrative, and when you're doing episodics that people see week after week, you tend to structure your stories differently, so they're much more literally episodic. Whereas we look at the entire season and create a story for that, and people view it differently. And they'll literally click straight onto the next one. If I'm watching Netflix now, I'm watching Amazon, I should say. Then instantly it's going to take you on to the next episode, and you can take a break at any point.
How does it change the episode since you don't have to worry about a commercial break? Does it make it flow better?
You don't break it. I mean, writing traditionally, even stage writing, you tend to think in acts, and commercial breaks often force you to think in acts. But we don't have to create false climaxes in and out of commercial breaks to keep your attention, so our narratives can be more mature. They can work to the pace of the characters in the writing rather than to the pace dictated by that 4-act structure of advertising television.
So the second season of Man in the High Castle ended with some kind of gray areas involving the Nazis and the resistance. But we have seen some rise in real-world Nazi activity, especially over the past year. Has that affected your future writings for the show?
I don't think it affects sort of the narratives that, creatively. I think it makes us understand the import of it even more so when that's happening. But I don't think it doesn't sort of drive.
No, we're not seeking to reflect current political events worldwide.
They're reflecting us. Sadly.
As Issa said, we started working on this show over a decade ago, at a time of progressive liberalism, but I think the important thing to remember, and I think what I think people are becoming more aware of now as they see how political shifts about the society, is that there's never a time we're safe from fascism, that we can never let our guard down. We always have to protect our liberties and our freedoms and our rights, and the moment we don't, you let in these populist policies that can defeat that.
The reveal that there are these alternate realities was really one that took its time coming about and for the characters to learn about. Why reveal something of that magnitude over such a slow amount of time rather than give it to the audience up front?
I think for several reasons, and I'm sure Issa has a good take on this as well, but for me, certainly, the most important thing about this series is to bed the viewer in the world that we're creating. We're already asking a lot to engage with an alternate reality where the Nazis won the war and the Japanese won the war. So that's the most important story we're telling, the story of that world. And when you start introducing alternate realities, it becomes a wormhole. And we have very clearly worked out defined rules of how those worlds work and how they interact, and the story of how that impacts upon the story in the world we're telling is going to take seasons to tell, and it is a slow path.
I will say, however, season 3 ramps up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it goes full in on the sci-fi and traversing various universes and the films, the origin of the films. So there's quite a lot of information that the viewer will get straight up.
And also you kind of want the viewer to be in the same place as the characters, where they're working it out as they go. The true answers to this are so enormous, the metaphysics and the physics of alternate reality. You know, you need to take a slow gestation period before we can kind of land you with the full picture.
Do you find it difficult then for the audience to come in? Do you have to start at the beginning as opposed to like, oh, I just want to start season 3 and get a taste? You have to really start with the first one?
Well, you know, they've Amazon has put together, I think it's a 10 or 15-minute recap of the first 2, which is great. Which, you know, really you could watch that and skip into 3, for instance. Of course, it would be great if people go back and watch the seasons, but I think there's a way in which you can jump into 3, assuming you've got your, you know, some form of catching you up on the other seasons.
The reason I had Battlestar Galactica to go back, I didn't watch like the first 3 seasons because it was a remake, and I wasn't going to watch a remake, and then I had some friends tell me about it, and it was like, turn off the television, I don't want to see the current one, I want to start from the beginning. That was before the streaming.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law was a flight attendant for Delta, and she was picking up bootleg copies from South America and bringing them for Christmas. So I'm glad for the streaming.
Yeah.
Well, the streaming means everything that's ever made is available if you click the switch. So.
Yeah, makes a big difference. Must help you with the show too, so you don't have to worry about keeping it so somebody comes in the middle of the season.
Thank you for your interest.
Thank you.
We're super excited.